Buggy is one of the biggest mysteries in One Piece. He reached the top seemingly without doing much to deserve it. However, it may not have been that simple. Buggy hides a true power that makes him one of the most powerful pirates in the world. So, if you want to know more about that and much more, stay here with me because I'm going to show you. Certainly, Buggy is an inspiring character. Even without any apparent qualifications, he still reached the top, even with everyone saying he was weak. He even made it into the ranks of the 4 strongest pirates in the world. But in reality, there's a good chance he's not as weak as people think. But first, if you're a One Piece fan, like this video and subscribe to the channel to not miss the next videos. Your support helps us a lot. Now, let's talk about Buggy's secret power. Buggy has always been an underdog among the pirates we've seen in the One Piece series. He was one of the first major antagonists Luffy faced on his journey, and despite being one of the earliest villains to appear, Buggy proved to be someone very important who would return more times in the future. One of his major characteristics is his relationship with Shanks, as Oda used this to showcase the parallels between 2 crewmates who lived and grew up together, but ended up very different in the end. Considering we've passed the 1,000 chapter mark of One Piece, it's understandable to think that Buggy is actually super weak. And I don't blame you for thinking that because in part, I think so too, especially given the first impression we had of him. However, if we pay attention, there are several things hinted at and even some more exposed that show that Buggy really does have a secret power, perhaps not even he knows about. With that in mind, he was one of the few characters who really came close to killing Luffy. This clown was about to end the entire series before Luffy even began his true adventure in the Grand Line. Buggy possesses the Bara Bara Nomi fruit, which gives him the power to separate parts of his body within a certain radius, but still follows some rules, like his feet having to be on the ground if the rest of his body is floating. Although many people don't pay much attention to his fruit, its potential to be a completely devastating power is something we need to talk about. But first, to truly understand Buggy and his true power, we have to go back to his incredible past with the Pirate King himself, Gol D. Roger. Buggy was born in one of the most dangerous seas in the world, the Grand Line. At a very young age, he joined Roger's pirates as an apprentice alongside Shanks. The two were the same age and were seen as very close, although their personalities were completely different. Buggy's interest in treasure and wealth outweighed his desire for power and fame, and even surpassed his desire to have a journey itself. However, this didn't stop him from fighting for the sake of his crew, and even admiring his captain, who later became the Pirate King. Young Buggy fought against people like the Whitebeard pirates. Although he was cowardly most of the time, during the war against Chi, Buggy told Roger to obey Chi and avoid the fight altogether. However, when the time came, he fought and defended his crew. We can see this when he stood firm alongside Shanks against the younger generation of the Whitebeard pirates. This is certainly not an easy task, as the Whitebeard pirates are literally monsters like Blackbeard and Marco. This also happened in the New World, which is notable for being the most dangerous sea in the work. Buggy lived through all of this, and that says a lot about him. Furthermore, Buggy was mentored by Riley, the Dark King, who took charge of training the children of Roger's pirates. Even though Buggy wasn't exactly a stellar student, after Roger's death, Buggy then crossed the sea and started his own pirate crew. But before that, he was invited by Shanks himself to join his crew, which he declined. But Shanks saw him as worthy, obviously saw him as a friend too, but saw him worthy of being part of his crew. Currently, Buggy has practically climbed to the top of piracy. He joined the Shichibukai and shortly thereafter became one of the 4 Yonko, being recognized as the leader of the Cross Guild. Even though he may not be truly the greatest leader, and honestly, becoming a Yonko shortly after the dissolution of the Shichibukai system gives us a greater perspective of Buggy's character. Buggy becoming a Yonko could be seen as a joke by Oda, and indeed it is a joke. However, when we look at things from a more narrative standpoint, it actually makes a lot of sense. In the world of One Piece, the 4 Emperors of the Sea are the most notorious pirates, and the title is not directly linked to any specific trend. While it may be an important factor, there is sometimes the misunderstanding that this title is given by the world government itself. In reality, it is propagated by news companies worldwide. The One Piece Journal, for example, propagated Roger's coronation as Pirate King after discovering Raftel in a similar manner. This is why major news organizations also hold a lot of power in the world. However, even the newspapers have criteria before they can distribute these titles. Of course, they must align with the world government and have some basis in truth. But one of the main factors that make someone become a Yonko is having enormous influence and infamy throughout the world. Another factor is accumulating great forces, whether they be subordinates of their own crew or allied pirates. Additionally, the Yonko must also have territorial power over some parts of the New World. So, how does Buggy meet all these requirements? Looking at Buggy's history, he was an apprentice to none other than the Pirate King himself, which already puts him in a legendary status. As we saw during the Marineford War, this made people want to submit to him. Additionally, Buggy also possesses a lot of wealth, so much so that his legend is entirely based on the wealth he has accumulated. This treasure allowed him to further expand his influence and power with the formation of his large underworld, Buggy's Delivery. This organization consists of powerful members alongside Buggy, such as Alvida and Mr. 3, as well as various other mercenaries who work for him. Most impressively, after the collapse of Doflamingo's underworld market, Buggy managed to capitalize on the power vacuum left by Doflamingo and expanded his supply spanning the entire world. This made Buggy gain infamy and worldwide recognition thanks to this mercenary business, utilizing his own influence over the people who clustered under his flag, thus making huge profits from it. This shows that Buggy is quite resourceful and capable of capitalizing on opportunities to promote his own brand and influence. This also subtly shows a deeper meaning of how the world operates. Furthermore, Buggy possesses incredible luck, but most importantly, it's his perseverance. Even when the whole world sees him as a joke, he never gives up and one day turns the world upside down, proving everyone wrong. That was exactly the path Buggy took. With all that said, Buggy's true power is also not something to be underestimated. History shows us that Buggy is secretly one of the strongest characters in the series. He has always been strong, but he only lacked ambition and greed to stand out. After the events of Impel Down, Buggy finally found the will to climb higher instead of settling for his current position. As mentioned in the past, Buggy and Shanks even fought against the Whitebeard pirates when they were children. From the start, Buggy was destined for great deeds. And although we haven't seen Buggy use Haki, there are signs that he actually possesses it. Additionally, we cannot forget that he was trained by Rayleigh, which makes sense that he has an innate disposition to use Haki. One of Buggy's most notable feats was surviving an attack from Dracul Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman, while casually strolling through Marineford. After that, Buggy managed to dodge all attacks from the admirals. This could be interpreted as a manifestation of his observation Haki. The awakening of his fruit, the Bara Bara Nomi, could allow him to split any object on an atomic level. Even though Buggy is often seen as a joke, he already possesses exactly what rivals the world's monsters: the ability to influence people and create allies. This shows us that Buggy is more than meets the eye and that he is destined for great deeds in the future.